So just in terms of why do we work with goals first? Why is goal setting so important? Well, if you think of it like a ship, if you have a ship that's sitting in the harbour and you switch on the engine, you lift up the anchor and you let it loose, what's going to happen to that ship? It may go around in circles, maybe it gets out of the harbour, maybe it crashes into something else and it sinks. But if you use a sat-nav and you program an exact destination, exactly where you want to go with that ship, you put in the coordinates of your final destination, and you then let the boat go, it will get to that destination within minutes of the program time if you take into account wind and climate. So that is why goals are so important. And I really encourage you, if you've not set goals, then use today to define your goals and to set them. So if we can please start on this side, please just maybe very briefly, just say your name, where you're from, and just what has been the key, like pick one thing that your team thought is really important when you set your goals. Do you want to know more?
Of course. My name is Helene Petersen. I'm from Denmark, and you're from Scotland, most of the group. And the word that came to our mouth was baby steps, and you must feel that you are talking about. You must feel your goal.
So you must feel it,
yeah.
And can you just explain a little bit more what you mean by that?
Well, it's the things that comes out of your mouth must be things you stand for.
Okay,
and just, yeah.
So set goals with your heart.
That's exactly.
Fantastic. I really like it. Thank you very much.
My name's Clara, and I work in London. So a lot of what we talked about actually was focusing on the personal goals, because a lot of the time if you set those personal goals very early on, it really drives your business because you know what you're working towards. And for me, one of the most important things, and I know we talked about this a little bit as well, was having that dream board, setting out your goals and having it visualised. So visualising those goals is so key.
So who in the room's got a dream board at the moment? Okay. So quite a few people who don't. I really encourage you. And can I come speak to you, Clara, about how you set your dream board?
Definitely.
It is an incredible way of really making your goal real, tangible, so you can see it with your mind's eye. Thank you very much, Clara.
Hi, my name's Julie from Scotland, and I'm sitting with the team at the back. And what we were really discussing is really how we get our goals. What do they drive from? And we also, to me, sort of discovered that when we're looking at financial goals, we can work 2, 3, 4, 5 jobs because it comes from our heads, and we just need to work. When we look at a time goal, then it tends to come from the heart, and that's where you get the biggest pull and the biggest pain. I ask people and say, well, what would you do if finances weren't a problem? Oh, I'd still work. But what could you do with the time? So it's always pulling from the heart, and these are the things that really will pull you ahead in that drive.
So focus on that which you are passionate about, that which inspires you, and then use that to set your goals.
Absolutely.
That's thank you very much.
My name is Lillian, and I'm from Denmark. And we were speaking about that the long-term goals were very, well, it has to be something that inspires us, give us warm in the heart and sparkling eyes, and then break it down so that it ends up with daily actions. Otherwise, we won't reach it.
I really like that. So set your goal, set a big goal for yourself, but then break it down into manageable chunks that keeps you on track every single day.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
Thank you very much. Great advice.
I'm here from Glasgow. We were talking about the fact of setting your daily goals. So your daily goals, and then having your maybe your month or your year goals, but your dream goals as well. I'm only new in the business, and it's one thing I had to sit down and do was to find my dream goal and my year goal.
So not just setting a goal for now, but setting, and ultimately I suppose revising that every year and just seeing, are you still on track, are those goals still relevant to you, and constantly, like every year, setting your goals. Right, thank you very much for that.
Hey there guys, my name is Michael, I'm from London. Our group is discussing the goals. I think we believe that it's quite important, the visual aspects, like you said earlier about the dream board. I'll be honest, it took me about 2 weeks ago. I've actually got my dream board up in my room. I just found when I wake up in the mornings just trying to find the gear and the energy to get into the swing of the day, but when I see my penthouse apartment on the side there, and let's go. I just strongly believe visually is quite a big thing. I was always one to say, oh, I'll get round to it, but I did it, and it's paying off dividends, so really thank you very much.
My name is Anita, I'm from Denmark, and we had a group of 6 and 1 year from London. And we had it was almost the same goal we had all of us. It was freedom, to have a choice in life, to be independent, and to be able to take care of our children. That was the same from all of us.
I agree. So not just setting goals for the rest, but also setting goals for your family and for all the rest of your life, because ultimately,
to have freedom and be independent. That was
fantastic. Thank you very much, really appreciate it. Is there anything thank you very much, guys. Thank you very much. Daniel, Guy, is there anything that you'd like to add to that? When you set goals, or anything that you feel that absolutely has to be on the...
So I just think it's really important that you follow the whole OTG procedure, where you go through the whole SMART part of it. Okay, so S-M-A-R-T. So much that you can write down now as well. But yeah, just follow what the whole system goes with setting goals. Go through the Fast Start booklets. That is your manual. That's got all the goals. Go through that. Just keep following the system, so that you can actually duplicate it through your whole organisation.
Fantastic, thank you very much, Guy. Great. So once we have goals, once we have our goals set, what is the next step, Lisa?
Well, I would definitely say that the next step will be contacts. Would you agree? Contacts are very important.
Yeah? Sorry? I think they may have fallen asleep there.
Yeah, that coffee wasn't strong enough.
No.
Not taking their off sweaters, are they? Okay, so contacts, very important, because that's the lifeblood to our business, isn't it? So in the next workshop, what we want to work on is to work together and find out what are good ways and how to build our contacts and databases. And they are so important, even not just for this business, but for big companies, all companies. It's all about the database. It's all about who do you have on your contact list? How do you grow that database? For newcomers, that's the one question I always get is, where do I find the contacts? Because eventually we run out of warm contacts, so we need to go and look for contacts in the cold market. Okay, so with the next workshop, I would like for you to again sit into your groups.
Actually, what we're going to do is, I think Daniel is just going to write down places where we can find contacts. So if
Okay.
you're just going to shout out.
Oh,
ideas.
fabulous, that's even better.
Exactly.
So we're going to get your minds flowing and working now. So I want you to have a good think about where is the best place or an area that you find comfortable and confident in finding contact. And a few hands up, please. I can start with me. For example, I always find it very easy to get contacts when I go shopping or I try some shoes on. Such an easy way to start talking to people. I also really enjoy speaking to people in restaurants sometimes. Staff, it's a very easy way for me to pick up contacts.
I think for me, I love networking events. Because people are there, people who go to networking events go because they want to meet other people. And there's so many different kinds of networking events. Of course, we think about business networking, but there are places where if you are reading a specific book, there are networking events that discuss that group, or networking groups that discuss that specific book. Or if you are into rock climbing, then there will be networking events for people who rock climb, who exchange tips and tricks of where to rock climb. So find things that you are passionate about, and then look for networking groups within those different areas, and then go to that. Guy, can I ask you to maybe recommend one thing that you where do you find some of your best contacts?
A lot of it's doing walking, talking. So I'll go to Westfield, which is just down the road from where I live. Also, again, another thing that I really focus on also is the networking events, but definitely walking, talking, networking, and just in my everyday life. Cool. And I meet people, all shops, supermarkets.
Cool. Thank you.
Excellent. And anybody else that can give us some good tips and hints? Fantastic. Ariane?
I'm using my alumni group from my schools. Alumni?
Alumni. Oh yes.
Sorry.
Great. That's a fabulous conference. Anybody else? Yes.
I contact other therapists.
Fantastic. So,
the industry I work in, I speak to other therapists.
what industry do you work in?
Complex therapy. I do massage
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That is such a good way, you know, to target certain groups because you can really relate to them and you can really tell them how this business helps and develops you as a person as well as how it benefits you. So a good relation. Yes?
Social media?
Social media, absolutely.
Facebook, you can reach a lot more people that way.
Very good, very good. Social media is probably one of the best and easiest ways. Get good ways of speaking and communicating on social media. If you are not so glued up with social media like me, I'm not that good at social media. There's many ways that you can go for short courses or find out more, read a bit more about it. But we also have one of our guys that's really good at social media, for instance, Darren. He's amazing at that, and that's always in high demand. There's always people out there looking for business and opportunities and products. Anyone else? Yes.
Even like Gumtree,
Gumtree. How would you go about that?
So typing personal trainer in London and Gumtree and Yale.com.
Absolutely. So people that post looking for maybe opportunities.
So they're advertising their business. If they're advertising their business, they're obviously looking for business.
Okay, fantastic. So when people advertise their businesses, it's a good contact to phone and again relate to. Oh, yeah?
We always forget that, but friends and family, even if they are not direct contact, I'm using them so much to give me other people. So they are just the connector to other people because they can see that I'm enjoying my business, I'm enjoying life, and I love what I'm doing. So they are referrals.
Fantastic. Absolutely. It's when you get really confident and you start to really work with your warm market as well. Get referrals through them. Absolutely. Mike?
Socially?
Socially, absolutely.
Restaurants, pubs.
Yes, you know, there's certain cultures that wouldn't do business with anybody else until they've socially sat around the table and had a meal and actually get to know a person really well. So absolutely, socially is probably one of the best. Anyone else? Yes.
Sports and fitness clubs, other hobbies and interests.
Yes, absolutely. And that can mix so well with this business as well because most people in the business are very much into health. They want to look after themselves, take care of themselves, so it slots really well into the business. Anyone else? Yes.
Yeah, everywhere, people is traveling, trains, airports.
Absolutely, yes. If you think about it, there's so many people around us, it's just getting good ways of starting up a conversation. And you will find that a lot of people are open to speak to you and have communication. Some people aren't. So just find those who are open for communication. Yes.
People with similar spiritual interests.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Because immediately there's that, the trust level, and that's definitely what business is built on, is trust. Ben?
Yes, not to network events, but just at a bigger scale, like big conferences. So Anthony Robbins, whatever, any kind of big conference.
That's very good, especially ones that's about body, mind, spirit. That's great conferences.
There are moments in life that we are meant to meet new people. I have a friend who's pregnant, and she said, I'm meeting so many new people. I'm meeting pregnant women who just have a baby, I'm meeting new doctors, I'm meeting women who will help me with my pregnancy. She's going to new shops that she's never been before. So she's meeting a lot of new people because she's pregnant. So you can use, because you are a mother of kids who are going to primary school, thanks to primary school you can meet new people. Thanks to high school you can meet new people. So use whatever happens in your life to find new people.
And that's also a great way to find a reason to change things when it becomes a little bit stale in your life. Find another way of plugging into different groups as you grow. Sometimes you can just change your gym because you've been with for a year or so. Just change to another gym. Fantastic. Thank you, Orion.
You can actually wander around the trade show, which is free.
Yes.
Big trade shows that you can just walk in and network at the bars and cafes. Don't worry about going around the actual stands. Just sit by the bars. There's people come in, it's free networking.
Absolutely, very, very good one. Like when you learn to actually speak and communicate with the public, the world's your oyster with connections and building a database. Nicholas?
Two things. I don't know. I don't have my glasses on, so I don't see it. But referrals. Do we have that there?
Yeah,
We have it.
Friend, family, but yeah.
Do we have referrals?
Yeah.
Okay. Sorry. Second thing I would like to add is when you get contact, in different places, business cards here and there, do have in mind directly that you write something on the business card. I met this lovely person at that place. One sentence or two sentences about that person, because if you have then 20 of contacts after a couple of months, you have no idea where you met these people. So it's tough to call them back. But if you have some notes about that person, looking for an opportunity, just lost a job, whatever. If you have that on the business card, it's much easier to call back.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a very, very good point there. Because speaking from experience, I've got a stack of business cards that I know I've got from people, and because I didn't write down key notes of where we left our conversation off, I find it very hard to pick up, and it's all about then you have to start to rebuild that conversation again. So make sure you make enough notes so that every time when you can speak to that person, you can just build on that relationship again. Yes?
There is one more. When I go to the hospital or GP or I see any health professional, I always mention them the dietitian, scanners, so medical places as well.
Medical places, absolutely. There's always space. Fantastic. Excellent.
I think the one thing that really shines through, like we've got so many cool suggestions there. Who learned one or two new places where they can make contacts? Yeah? Oh, you? And the rest of you? I think almost everybody learned something there. But the one thing that really shines through is it is just from living. It's just from doing the normal things that we do. We go to trade shows in any event. We go to the doctor in any event. We travel in any event. We hang out with friends or family members in any event. It's just about using those opportunities every single time to meet new people. I remember about 2.5 years, 3 years ago when I first started the business, I was speaking to Christian Christensen, and I was saying to him, I'm new to the UK, I'm from South Africa, I don't know very many people, and he just said, look around you. How many people do you see? There are millions of people in the city. There are always people. You'll never have a shortage of people. So go and prospect. And if you approach the business from that perspective, you will never ever be short for people to speak to. People are dying to hear what we have to say. So thank you very much for all of your work. So once we have our contacts, I find that with new people, and maybe you can add on to this, new people usually don't have a problem with setting their goals and writing down contacts. These sort of 10, 15, 20 contacts. But I find where new people very often stumble is when it comes to the inviting process. They get afraid, they start to clam up, they start to speak unnaturally, they don't go, they find it difficult to pick up the phone or to go to a friend and say, I would like to show you this great business I'm working with, or I would like to tell you more about a product that I came across that has recently changed my life. And inviting is such a crucial step. Even if you aren't very good at presenting, even if you are rubbish at explaining the business, if you can invite people like a pro, then you can get people like Nathan Ricks to present the business to them, which makes your life a lot easier, wouldn't you agree? Yeah. So inviting is key. And that is why the next person is going to talk to us a little bit more about inviting and how we can really improve on our inviting skills. He is a master inviter. He has built a very, very successful business with New Skin over the last couple of years. In his professional life, he's been working as a personal trainer and a physiotherapist. In his personal training business, he's worked at one of the top hotels in London, the Mayfair Hotel, an incredibly prestigious hotel where only the best people, or rather the people who he's trained, has been at a very, very high level. So many of his clients have been athletes for Team GB. He has also trained actors and musicians, Janet Jackson, Clint Eastwood, and similar. And I truly believe that we will learn an awful lot today about implementation front. So please help me welcome Mr. Ben Kilner.
Thank you. Right, who's good at inviting? Who's afraid of inviting? Anybody afraid of it?
Yeah.
Okay, I've got 20 minutes to do inviting and closing, so I'm going to be rapid. I'm not going to chat anything about my story. We're just going to go straight in. And I want answers and interaction from everybody, and I want to engage your brains. And first of all, I want answers from people who's been in the business less than 4 months. Okay, I want answers from you guys. Because if you engage your brains, you're going to learn this a lot better. If you just listen to the people that know how to do this, you're not going to actually learn that much. So I want you to give me the answers, and then we're going to work on those. And before we start, I want to scribe because my handwriting is horrendous. So I need you guys to be able to see this. So maybe Manita, you've got great handwriting. Do you want to come up and be scribe for me? Are you listening? Okay, can you come up here and be my writer? All right, so first of all, inviting. Let's just go through the basics. We've got 5 C's now, not 4, 5 C's. Quickly, which ones are they? Compliment. Second one, curiosity. Third one, credibility. Fourth one, commitment. Fifth one, control. Okay, we're going to use that as a framework throughout the whole process. Before we start inviting, and Nicholas did an amazing presentation on this actually a couple of weeks ago, we haven't got time to go into that, but your inviting process actually starts before you even pick up the phone. It started sometimes weeks beforehand. You're gathering information through your contacts, you're gathering information through walking and talking, the conversations that you're having with people every single day, and you're looking for information to be able to store, to be able to bring out in that invite process. That information could be some level of pain in somebody's life, it could be something they're not happy with in a certain job, maybe they need more time with their friends and family or kids, etc. Maybe they want to travel. You're finding all that information and you're going to store it and you're going to bring that up in the invite, and it's going to make the invite very simple for you. Okay, make sense? Yeah. Where are you going, Manisa? I'll have a describe. Okay, so first of all, answers from people in the business less than 4 months. What are we going to do? Step 1, before we've even picked up the phone.
Create energy.
Create energy, perfect. Smile. Okay, smile, absolutely. It is all about, if you're going to get anything from this presentation, not just in inviting, but in every single thing you do in this business, it's all about your certainty level, it's all about your posture, it's all about your tone. People are going to join you, and they can tell that on a phone. If you ask who are the best people that tell if somebody has integrity, or if they're lying or telling the truth, it's blind people. Because they can hear the tone of their voice. So when you're on the phone, you're essentially blind. So they can hear your tone, they can hear your posture, they can see your body language through the tone of your voice. So first of all, perfectly, it's all about your posture, smiling, etc. Get yourself in the mood. If you're not in the mood, your invite is going to be crap. So put on music, whatever it is for you. I have a certain video that I play, it plays for 5 minutes. It's one thing, it's the same thing every single time, and it gets me in the mood, and it will make me do a lot of invites straight away because it gives me that energy. Find something that works for you individually and have that as your trigger to be able to start the presentation. Okay, once we've done that, step 2, we're going to start the call.
Stand up.
Stand up, absolutely, you can do that. If you like to stand and walk, that's great. We're going to make the call. It's ringing, they answer the phone, hi, basic stuff. What's the first thing we're going to do?
Clear the
Ask.
time.
Time, perfect. Time, absolutely. Is it a good time? Are we just going to leave it? Is it a good time?
Have you got a couple of minutes? I want to talk business.
Okay, is it a good time for them? Okay, if they say yes, we're going to carry on. If they say no, what are we going to do?
Reschedule.
Reschedule. Are we just going to say what we're going to say with rescheduling? Somebody said 2 choices. That's the perfect answer. Okay. When can I call you back? Are you free in 15 or 20 minutes? And I want to start with the smallest time scale. I want to create urgency. I'm not going to say, can I give you a call tomorrow or the day after? I'm going to say 15 or 20 minutes. Okay? Give them 2 options, they're going to pick one. If it's really not good for them, they're going to say that doesn't work. I'm going to go take it later on. Shall I give you a call later in this afternoon or early evening? 2 options, and I'm going to keep working back. And then I'm going to ring them, I'm going to be professional. I'm going to make sure that I alarm my phone if you need an alarm, and I'm going to write that name in. My phone will alarm, and I'm going to ring them exactly on that time. Okay? So now they say yes. What time am I now?
You've got plenty of time.
Okay, so we're ringing, time's good, they answer, etc. First couple of minutes, less than that, what are we going to do?
How are you?
Form? What's it form? Okay.
Less than 4 months? You in the business less than 4 months?
Yeah.
Okay. Form. Okay, family, occupation, recreation, money. Okay? This is the stuff that hopefully you've gathered before they even call, but sometimes you're not going to be able to do that. You're going to gather stuff about their family, their occupation. That's what we do normally. We always chat, oh, how's work going? How's the family? How's friends? Etc. You're going to be engaged, and you maybe have a pad of paper, and you're going to write that information down, because that is what's going to help you in that invite process. Are we going to get that like that go on forever and ever, or are we going to cut them off? Cut them off? How long are we going to cut them off at? A little bit less. Maximum minute, ideally around 40 seconds. Okay? I would love to talk to you, whatever they're talking about. I'd love to chat to you more, Janice, about the family. But the real reason I've called you today, we're going to go into our first line. And that first line has got to be curiosity and credibility. Okay? Give me a line that somebody uses. Compliment? Absolutely. Give me a line. Anybody? Anybody want to dare? There's no wrong answer.
I'm expanding my business in your area.
Expanding the business? It's okay.
Working on the key projects, looking for 1 or 2 key people.
Perfect.
Who taught you? Who's teaching you, Mike?
Okay. Business, I'm not saying that you can use business. The reason I don't like business, sometimes it can scare people off. Business sounds expensive. It sounds hard work. I like to use project. Project sounds a little bit nicer for people. And you can use different various things. So I'm looking for 1 or 2 key people. I'm keeping it very unique. I'm not looking for anybody. I'm looking for 1 or 2 key people to help me on a project. Okay? And you can do this in various different things. We're expanding into your area, whatever you want. Okay? Depending on the individual, and you're going to use that information that you've brought in from that form. Maybe they want time with children, etc. So, I just want you to give the concept. There's no right or wrong answer. It's whatever feels natural to you. So, a very simple thing would be, I'm expanding a project. I'm looking for 1 or 2 key people. You've always been great in business, so I've complimented them. You're very good with people, and that's a skill that is very good with people with what I do. And I'm going to go straight into when you can meet, and I'm going to commit them straight away from just 1 sentence. And I say, when is the best time? And I'm going to give them 2 options again. Tuesday afternoon or Tuesday evening. Because some of them will be dead open and they'll be dead easy. I don't want to go into the rest of the invite if I don't need to. And they may just literally say yes straight away and have a meeting. Okay? So this is very much with warm contacts or people you've met before. And this is just really a framework and a structure to work from. One thing that I've been working with a lot recently is, and well, maybe we'll move on actually, next point is, a lot of people come back with what do you do, or who is it, etc. What's the project, what's the company, etc. I pretty much say, depending on the individual, I more or less say the same thing every time. Okay? If I know nothing about them, sometimes I'll ask them a question back, maybe if they're a bit acquaintance or a bit cold, and I haven't found that form information. I'm actually going to say to them, if they ask me that, I'll say, let me ask you a question first, and then I'll be able to answer that question a lot better for you. Because part of what we do is we help people find out what they want. So let me ask you, what are you passionate about, and what do you want, and what are you looking forward to doing in the next 3 to 5 years? And I'll tell you what, and that'll help me with my answer. I'm going to find out what they want there now. I'm going to be dead open with them. And then I'm going to use that information, and then I'm going to use my team. And this is what I think we should be doing a lot more, is use the team, because that is so powerful. People get excited about being in a team environment, and that is what we want. Okay, so I'm going to promote my whole upline. Okay, and I'm going to say, if they ask me what I do, I say, look, I'm working with some very unique individuals. Sometimes I use business people, but I'm going to use the word successful a lot. They're very successful with what they do, but they have a lot of integrity. Depending on the individual, if they're looking for money, I'll tell them most of them earn between 6 and 7 figures, because that creates a lot of credibility for certain individuals. It may scare some others off, so I'm going to use that limited, depending on the individual. But I'm also going to bring in the philosophy. And what we do is we identify good people to work with that share the same philosophy as and that share the same values. We look for people that are positive, people that want to aspire for something more, people that don't want to work in that 40-year career and have a pension plan that's pretty average. Yes, we work hard, and that is a requirement that we want, but we work hard in a smarter way where we can build something in the next 3 to 5 years and provide people with the things that they want to do, and I'm going to add in whatever they've told me previously. Maybe they want time with children. And we provide people with the help to spend more time with their children or whatever that individual wants. Is that a little bit more exciting than we work with a $3 billion company, etc., in anti-aging? So I'm finding out exactly what the individual wants. You may use the anti-aging stuff with people in that career and are attracted with that, but the concept is find out what the individual wants and relate to them. Make sense?
Yeah.
What do you say when someone asks you how much you earn, especially when you start?
How?
That's the question.
Okay.
Come up very often.
If you get that on an invite,
It's probably for
That's all too much.
Yeah.
You sell too much.
Yeah. So I would never get that on an invite. You might get that further down the line, etc. We cover that later. But you shouldn't ever get that on an invite. Okay. If I got that, I just say, look, it's totally irrelevant. It's just about your posture. I say it's totally irrelevant what I earn. Would anybody go into your business and ask you what you earn? Okay. Yeah.
You have the book where it says how much executive own and how much gold, like this.
Of course.
You have the book and that's the average.
Yeah.
That's what you tell people.
But I personally, I would never go into that on an invite process. I just want to make them curious to find some time, either to invite them to a webinar, invite them to a one-on-one presentation, invite them to a meeting, etc. Know what you're obviously inviting for, and you just commit them. Every single sentence I'll say, when can we meet? I'm the first one, I'm in charge of the conversation. When can we meet? 2 options. And commit them to that meeting. Okay? Right, I've got 42. Any questions on that? I'm going to move to closing. You will find some other objections. My advice to you is how to get good at inviting is not to go and learn scripts. It's literally I actually rather do my invites in blocks, not just do 1, 2 random calls. I'll put it in a block and I'll hammer out one after the next. And once you do a few, you get into a rhythm and it feels really good. You only need 1 or 2 people to say yes, then you're feeling really good. You don't really care about the no's. And the more that you do, time and time again, you're going to have all the answers. And it doesn't have to be perfectly correct, it's all about your tone and your posture.
Can I just ask?
Of course you can. Go for it.
I've got a certain question I always fail, and I can't really work it out. People always ask me when I invite them, but is there anything to do with MLM?
Okay.
And what shall I say? Because I shouldn't lie.
If you're getting that question, you're telling them too much. No, seriously. If you're getting that question, you're telling them way too much. You shouldn't be getting anything near that at all. Okay? Just write down, record yourself. You can record yourself on your phone, analyze your conversation and think, okay, where am I telling them too much that gets that answer? Okay? Right, go for it.
If that question comes, be proud of it. I mean, don't be afraid to say no. It's not, because we are.
Somebody asked me that, I say absolutely, and if it wasn't, I wouldn't touch it with a barge pole.
No. It's the most amazing opportunity we have today, 2014, to be proud of our industry.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it is.
I am proud, but they
that's their problem, not yours. Yeah, it is MLM. I'm super proud of what I do. Have you got a problem with that?
That's no problem. Okay. That's a topic on itself, and that'll take I'll take one last question and then we'll go. I'll take one question from the lady at the back.
It wasn't a question, it was just something when we did the distributor training
Yeah.
And Carrie said, some people say to you, is it an MLM? Sometimes they actually ask that question, but they don't even know what MLM means.
Yeah,
so
sure.
if you say, okay, just tell me what you mean by that. Do you know what that means? But obviously, like you said, to be honest, in an invitation, when you're doing the invite, that shouldn't come up at all because you haven't created the urgency for them to meet you. So if they're asking you that, it's too much, really.
Absolutely. So the invite process, you should never get that, but I agree. You know, use Nicholas's strategy. Sometimes I will ask them what they, I want to know what their opinion is or what they believe it is. Sometimes they don't know, but that's a totally different subject area. We're going to move on. I have 8 minutes, and we're going to look at closing. Closing, anybody? People like it? People struggle with it? Who struggles with it? Okay, I want questions from you guys then. Okay. What's the first thing you say? You finish your presentation, or you've invited them to a group presentation and you're in front of your prospect. The first sentence you're saying.
What do you like best?
Perfect. What do you like best? Anybody use what do you think? Anybody has used that? I've used it. Worst thing you should ever say. What you think will create a negative impression in somebody's brain, and they will always think of the worst things. Okay? I want to find what they like the most. Everything I say every single time, what do you like best? What do you like the most? Okay? That's step one. Anybody know what they would do? There's different strategies on this, and I'll tell you what I personally do every single time, and I'll give you a few things that other people do as well. I'll say what did I like best, and I'll gather that information. Sometimes they don't really give me anything, so I want to narrow it down. If they give me something, I'll work on that. So if they don't give me any information, I'm going to narrow it down into 2 subject areas. I'm just going to go straight out on it, give them 2 options. Did you like the business side? Keep it really open. Do you like the business side or do you like the product side? Okay, give them 2 options. I'll very quickly do products. If they're products, I'll go 2 options every single time. I'll say, are you more interested in nutrition or are you more interested in the beauty side and the anti-aging? I'm more interested in anti-aging. Great. Are you more interested in looking at some of the technology that we talked about? Or are you more interested in some more of the products, the moisturizers, etc.? I'm more interested in the machine technology. Was it the face one or the body one? And I'm going to narrow and narrow and narrow down until I get 1 to 2 things that they're interested in, and then talk and look at their objections or whatever they want to need, the information that they need on a small little area. Because we have hundreds of products, if I start talking about all these different ones, they may have 0 interest, so I want to talk about what they're interested in. Okay? So that's products. I'm going to move more into business, so that's more important. So, business, if they say business, I'm going to give them a scale of 1 to 10, and I'm going to say to them, from all the information that you've seen right now, where are you at on a scale of 1 to 10? 10, super excited, let's go, let's sign up straight away. 1, 0 interest whatsoever, and I want you to be 100% honest. I don't mind either way, I'm just looking for the right people. I'm going to talk about this through the whole process anyway. This is where I'm going, and I'm looking for the 1 or 2 key people to take with me that have the right qualities that I need. I just want you to be 100% honest to see where you're at right now. If they give me 1, 2, they're not interested, generally speaking. I will work on their body language as well. It won't always be so perfect, so work on their body language and what they're saying and their personality and what you know from them. But generally speaking, if they say things like 3s and 4s and 5s and 6s, they're going to need more information. So I say the same question. I'll say that, okay, what more information do you need to help make your decision? What more information do you need to help make your decision? Then I'll listen and find out what that information is. They may say, oh, I don't understand the compensation plan. So, or maybe I want to speak to somebody who's made it to the level that I want to make it to, maybe new in the business. Maybe, I don't know, I need to know more about the products. Okay, so whatever that is, we're going to put a plan in place, because all our job is to create the next exposure, that's specific to them. Make sense? Yeah? Yeah? So, I'm going to very quickly give you 1 strategy that will help you be better at that. It's a little bit on follow-up, but better with the follow-up with that information. So, if their information was, I need to know more about the compensation plan. So I'm going to obviously give them that information. Am I just going to send them an email and say, catch up with you later? No. If I'm honest, that's what I used to do. I was so laid back. I'm generally a pretty laid back person. And I used to take that into my business. Be like, I'll catch up with you. Later on, actually. I'll ping an email. That's not professional, and the right people will not appreciate that. You've got to be professional, and you've got to take charge of the follow-up procedure in this instance. So I'm going to say, if I, use this phrase, if I send you that information on compensation plan, will you review it, read it, whatever? And I'm going to follow that. So if I send that information, when do you think you can review it by? This afternoon, tomorrow morning, 2 options. I want just a commitment on that. So if I call you, whatever the time was, at 2 o'clock Thursday afternoon, you'll have read that information and we can have a chat about it. Sure? Absolutely. And we commit and we put the time in the diary. I'm going to do the same thing with a 3-way call or whatever. If I find the time and get one of my top leaders, Edify, my top leader, Daniel is one of the top people in our business, he's one of the key guys that is highly in the UK market with some other key people. He's a very, very busy man, but if I go out of my way to find some time for you to have a conversation with him, will you attend that call? And I'm going to do the same strategy and put him in and follow up like that. So that is part of that closing period that people need more information. I'm just creating a strategy for that individual that's specific to them. Okay? Go for it.
I was just going to say, that is, using someone at your outline or whatever is, that's a part of that, but what if you haven't got anyone
in your outline?
Yeah.
Skype?
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. If you look, I haven't got time, but if you look at some of the top people in this business, most of their uplines are abroad. Okay? With technology these days, there's no excuse to get in contact with their upline. If people want to do this, Skype is just as easy as a phone call. It doesn't matter where they're at. Okay? So, if they are a 8, 9, 10, got 2-3 minutes, I'm going to go straight into, I'm going to find out what it is that they want. And they're really just saying, is it going to be worth my time? Okay? They may want a little bit of information as well, so we can still use that other strategy. So I'm going to say, how much money do you need to make? And I'm going to relate it all back to their reasons. We've talked about their whys already, and I'm going to relate that reasoning, make it specific to them. So how much money do you need to make this worth your while? I'm not going to go massive and massive. I just want to see if it's worth their while. Oh, £2,000. Okay, so if I show you a way to make £2,000, how many hours are you willing to commit to make that £2,000? I can commit 10 hours. So if I show you a way where you can commit 10 hours, use the word show, 10 hours to make that £2,000, over how long period of time, months, would you be willing to put that work in to get that £2,000 to do the thing that you want to be able to do and relate it back? 6 months. Okay, so if I show you a way to make £2,000 over a period of 6 months, working 10 hours a day and just relaying the information that they've come back to me with, you're ready to get started and we'll put a game plan together. If it's correct and go, we put a game plan together, we get a conversation plan together, and we get going. And we look at packages, etc., that are specific to them, and we go. Sometimes they'll need some other information, we just put the right strategy in place for them. Okay? Now that's what I do. Some people do it quicker. Okay, there's other options that you can do. Jennifer Maguire's the best at this. You can keep it real simple. Do you like business or products? Business. Do you want to go fast or slow in this business? I want to go fast. Show them the business builder kit and let's get going, because I haven't got time to wait. You want to do it like that, you can do it like that. And if you're the right person, let's do it like that. We have a huge amount of urgency going on. If some individual needs a little bit more time, I'll go with the other strategy. My time is up. So that is inviting and closing in 12 minutes.
Hi everyone, my name is Daniel Morell. I'm originally from Sweden, and my background is in the banking industry, but I've been fortunate enough to be with this company for the last 9 years. It's been an amazing journey. But I'm not going to talk about my story right now. What we're going to do is Ben so brilliantly introduced the next speaker here today. I've got somebody who's probably moving the fastest in the UK at the moment, and I just want to have her share a little bit about her story, just because she's moving very fast right now. And I always find you can learn probably more from people that are newer than you than people that have been in the business for a long time. I always find that yes, if you never quit, you will have success at some point. But there's some people that move much, much quicker, and that's a little bit what we want to find out. Why are they moving so quickly, right? So can everybody please help me welcome the super duper monkey from Glasgow, Jennifer McGuire. So I just told Jennifer yesterday that she's going to be sharing her story a bit today. So she's like, what do you want me to talk about? So I'm going to make this quite simple. I'm going to ask her a few questions just to make it a little bit simple. But before Nu Skin, before you've ever heard about the company, can you share a little bit about your background, what you did before?
Yeah. Hi everyone, as Daniel says, my name is Jennifer and I'm from Glasgow, and I've got a background in teaching and working with children. And while I was studying at university, I also got a franchise of a teeth whitening company. And it was all about timing, so there was no one else in Glasgow doing teeth whitening, so I was able to make good money off the back of teeth whitening, and then speak up a bit. And then while I was doing that, I had my beautiful young son, so I've got a little boy who's 4, and I didn't want to go back to work again and be a teacher and work in that 9-to-5 job, so I was very fortunate to be introduced to Nu Skin 2 years ago. And it just ticks all the boxes for me because I have the freedom to do what I want, when I want, and be my own boss and just give my son the lifestyle that I will never dream of.
Okay, brilliant. So you got started about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
And can you take us through that a little bit? I mean, what did you do when you first started? Did you get to executive fast? Like, can you give a little bit of that?
Yeah, when I first started, I met Daniel, and I was so excited about Nu Skin that I went and spoke to everyone, and I was basically sick over all my family. So none of my family are in the business. So yeah, don't tell everyone too much initially. Keep curiosity, like Ben was just saying there. And yeah, I got to Lapis fairly quickly, and I was in Lapis land for like a year or something. 2 people fell away, but it didn't make me want to give up. 2 of my executives, it didn't make me sit about and cry, I just got on with it. But the turning point for me was going to America. So I've been to all of the events, I've always went to all of the events, but going to America really was the turning point for me. And I've always known when I went to Budapest back in 2012 that I would always do this business. So I made a commitment, no matter what, I would be Team Elite. Like I know that I'll be a Team Elite, no if, just when, it's just about timing.
So you went to the convention in the US in October.
Yeah.
What do you think, why did you have a change in your thinking?
Yeah.
What was it?
Yeah, I was just sitting in the audience, and for me I was so inspired. What age? 27 I was in, 27. And there was Team Elites at 17, 18 up on the stage sharing their story, and I thought, wow, if they're there, why am I sitting here? Like, don't delay it, just go back home and do it. And that was the turning point for me. I was just so inspired by the thousands of people that they were up there who were very successful. So if they can do it, we can all do it. Anyone can do this business. We just have to find people that's got skin and talk to them.
And then, so you came back from the US, and did you have different habits? What did you do on a daily basis that kind of changed your business?
Just took massive action, speak to everyone, and I mean everyone. Like if I'm going to the bank to pay a bill, I will ask the person sitting, are you looking for an additional income? They maybe think I'm crazy, but I'm still speaking to people. Webinars, online webinars have been amazing for me. So working through my contacts, asking them to write me down 200 people, and I can work through them together with my team. So it's not about me, it's about helping my team to be successful. And we'll work through all their contacts. Online webinars, as I said, they've been amazing. So like a Friday night at 11 o'clock, people maybe think they want to unwind and go to bed, but I want to build my business. So if there's someone in Australia, then I'll do a webinar with them. I'm getting like 30, 40 people on these webinars. And the reason that that's happening, when the webinar finishes, I'll say, so who do you know that would be interested in this opportunity? I'm doing another webinar at 12 p.m. Get me 5 people on, and that's just keeping that urgency and taking massive action, and everyone doing a little bit creates a good thing.
Okay, great. So you have somebody who gets started in the business. They say, I want to do this, and do you then just jump to the contact list? Do you get them registered first so they buy the business card package?
We're just back from
So you have somebody who wants to get started. Like, take us through a little bit what the action steps are of getting them started.
Yeah, if someone wants to get started, I'm very aware that people might just be interested in the product, but because I'm so business focused, I don't really speak about the product. I'm more focused on business, and I always make the business builder kit, like the £983 or the one for 1,200 points. I always make that one sound more exciting. So I'll obviously ask if they want to start slowly or fast, and if they say slow, then I make that sound really boring and not very good. And then if you want to go fast, like, wait, let's get started! So did you understand? No, so if they want to go fast, then I'll make that sound better, and I'll give them all the benefits of having a big kit, and obviously once the retail fee of the tax, they make a quick return on their investment, and then they've got their own products for free. And also I tell them about the new Springboard bonus, so we learned about that in America, so I tell them about that as well. So if you don't know about that and you're new in the business, just log in and find out about it. It means if they become executive quickly, within the first month they'll also get 2.5 shares from the company. And there was a study to say if someone makes £1,000 in their first month in the business, then they'll stay. So I'll always go through all that and make that sound like the best option.
Yeah, actually, the study pretty much shows that if somebody in New Skin makes, I think it's £700 or £800 in just at all, like at any point in their life, they're very, very likely to stick to the business forever. Okay? A much, much higher chance. So it's about how can we get them to make money as soon as possible, right? All right, so you make that really exciting. So now you have somebody who wants to get started. You then obviously you get them to write down their list. But also one thing that I know you do is you create kind of competitions between the different groups a little bit. Can you explain a little bit how you do that?
Yes, my focus now, because I'm Ruby, I don't want to just be a Ruby and all my team to be distributors. I want everyone in the team to be Ruby too, and I want to all go together. So what I do is I'll pick out 2 that I know that are doing well, and I'll have a bit of competition with them, and just see who can get to Ruby first. And I did that, and when I got to Ruby the following month, 2 people on my front line got to Ruby as well. So it was just friendly competition, but it worked. Just because I've got a sporting background and I'm competitive myself, and I know the principles of it, I just apply it into the business.
Do you only do webinars, or do you do other things as well?
Everything.
Everything, all right.
Yeah.
So give us a normal day in your New Skin life.
Yeah, so Scott, one of the boys in my front line, he's working to be Ruby just now, and he asked me would I go along to a meeting for him, and the lady, for him to become Lapis, he needed this lady to become executive. So there was 10 people at the meeting, and I said, okay, I'm not leaving until she's executive, so we'll sign up 5 people. And I just went in there with that mindset, and it is all about your mindset, and if you've got that in your head, then I just believe the universe listens and you attract it back. So yeah, so I just went in and I ended up there for 4 hours. Like, I did the presentation quickly, but I sat for an additional 3 hours to get to know everyone one at a time and get all their details and get them signed into the business, to help Angela to become executive, which should help Scott to get to Lapis. So just go that extra mile for your team.
Brilliant, excellent. Also, can you tell us a little bit what's kind of your habits? You wake up in the morning, you have certain things that you do as well. Can you
I look in the mirror and I say, wow, you're amazing. No. Has anyone read The Secret? Yeah, so when I wake up, I always say thank you, like as I walk to the bathroom. I'll cut out that. No, but I'm always thankful for everything in my life, with gratitude for my amazing son. Where I live, I look onto the water, I'm very thankful for that. So just all the little things in life. And I'm generally just a happy, positive person. We've got WhatsApp groups, so with the whole team, I stay connected with them. And first thing in the morning, I'll send them all positive quotes and stuff. And I just think you really need to be in a positive mindset. And if I'm ever feeling negative, I just put music on and I dance. I might look silly, but I dance about my living room and stuff, and I get my energy high before I start making calls. And every day we're just consistently speaking to at least minimum 3 new people every day.
Okay, brilliant. And what would you say is your balance between working on finding new people compared to working with your teams and driving the
Just now, I feel because I was on stage in Barcelona and I said I was going to have 25 new rubies by next year. So just now I'm working with my team a lot, but because we do daily challenges as well, so I'm always I'm losing money basically if I don't go wide. So I've got a goal to go wide as well. So a balance of both, but mostly I'm working with my team. I'd say 80% of the time I'm working with the team.
Brilliant. No, also, you just see her energy right now. You can just feel it, right? I've actually had people that are, I don't know, maybe on your 10th, 11th, 12th level that I speak to, and they're having people come to them because they have changed to more positive type people, more positivity in their life, and their friends are noticing that. So that's people that Jennifer doesn't even know who they are, that they're in her organization, but they're actually becoming more positive as well, and they're attracting people to the business because of that, right? It's all about the attitude. So, brilliant. Does anyone have any other questions that you want to ask Jennifer, any specific things? Anyone really shy? Yeah, you go.
I just wondered what the biggest attitude shift was between before you went, because obviously you've been to the conferences before, you can see that you're capable and that business is going to happen. Yeah. But what was the biggest difference in your mindset and your behaviour that actually accelerated your growth within your business?
I think it's just timing for everyone. It's just all about timing. And when I was in America, like I say, I always knew that I would do the business, but when I was in America, I was just sitting thinking, wow, I need to get home and be up on that stage. I said I wouldn't go to another event unless I was on stage sharing my story, and I just come back and took massive action, and I got to do that last month in Barcelona. So yeah.
Congratulations.